Hey guys, Jason here from VHS Productions. Now I've been playing and enjoying Mario Kart in VR for over a year now, tweaking settings every time I play just a little each time. Now I believe I now have it running and looking the absolute best it can possibly be, and I want to share my settings with everyone that wants to play. As you can see from the footage, it's running smooth, features new HD textures. The heads-up display like the items box and the map and placement are visible in first-person view. I've also removed Mario's head so his big nose is not in the way in first-person view. Now this is one of the best VR experiences out there, and I feel everyone should get a chance to try this. But I understand there are many settings that need to be put in and changed to get it to this point, and it could be a bit daunting and deterring for people unfamiliar with Dolphin. So today I'm making this video to show you guys all my settings, so please try to follow along and pause the vid to copy my settings as I go through them. It'll be in 4 sections: Dolphin configuration, game configuration, wheel controller config, and an optional HD texture config. I've also put a link in the description for you more advanced Dolphin users of just my config files, so if you want to copy and paste that as an option. Now this is running on the Dolphin 5.0, not the latest version of Dolphin, because sadly VR is not supported in the newer Dolphin versions. I'm not going to go through the Dolphin install process, but I'll leave a link in the description for it. Trust me, it's super simple. You just download it, install it to whatever drive you choose. I will also not provide the game ISO file, as that would be a little bit illegal to share and this video would get banned. But trust me guys, it's not hard to find the Mario Kart Wii ISO. You just Google it or look on a popular torrent site and it's not hard to find. Once you have Dolphin installed and the ISO for Mario Kart Wii, let's get started with section number 1. Okay guys, section number 1. This is the Dolphin config settings. So this is just after you've downloaded and installed Dolphin for the first time and opened it up for the first time. You'll see this screen, except for these games. You won't see these games in here the first time. So as I go through these settings, try to, if you need to, pause the video and copy my settings over to exactly your settings, and hopefully everything should be good. Before we start, I just would like to recommend that when you're playing Mario Kart, that you should be, I would say recommend a controller, like a gamepad, like Xbox or PS4 controller. That's because that's what I'm going to be using for hotkey setup. You might want to alter that if you need. And I'm also using a wheel, so we'll get to that in a minute. So let's start with options. We're going to set up our hotkey settings right here. So all we're going to be looking at is 5 hotkeys that you want to set to your gamepad. The buttons that are not used, that I have used to map the free look controls, are the cross pad and the left bumper on the Xbox controller. So all we're going to be changing is this free look reset. I've changed to the shoulder or bumper left, not the trigger, but the button as my reset. Now this will come in handy if you've started the game and you need to recenter the screen, or just generally if you ever need to recenter, it's good to have a reset camera button. So we'll have that there, and we also want to put in, where's move forward? Zoom in. I have set to the up position on the control pad. That's the top there. And zoom out, I have it set to the bottom of the cross pad. So up and down on the cross pad will zoom in and out to change to the first person view in Mario Kart. You also need up and down. Now this will move the camera up and down, so you'll see when we get into the game, we'll zoom in and then we'll have to quickly go down to shoulders area. Or if you go too low, you can go back up. So you want to set up, down, zoom in, and zoom out, and reset. The other ones we don't really need to worry about. And that is about it. As you can see, you might have to set your gamepad device right here. to whatever gamepad you're using. And well, let's go through the configs here. So copy along my settings here. I'll make some comments as how I've come across some of these and some things that might help you. I've modded this so long ago, I don't know what I've actually changed. So just copy these settings, interface, audio. I'll give you a second to pause if you need. GameCube. I don't know if I've changed the memory card here. I think I changed it to 16:9. I'm not sure. Pass. Okay, so this one, let's talk about this one. This is where all these games are. So what you want to do is create a folder where you're going to put all your Dolphin games. If it's just Mario Kart, that's fine. Just create a folder and call it Dolphin Games, or whatever you want to call it. I called mine Dolphin Games. It's preferred if you put it on a SSD memory or M.2, something that's a little bit faster, because Mario Kart needs a little bit, it just benefits with a faster memory option. So I'm using M.2, so it's a pretty fast thing to load for the game to load up. So on this, what we're wanting to do is you go to add here, and I have mine on G drive, and see I have my Dolphin games right here. So I'm not going to add it, but normally you would double click that or select folder and just add it on here. And now when Dolphin opens up, it's going to know where to look for the games. So when it opens up, this is what you'll see. You'll see your games pop up here because it'll automatically look for them and look in that folder for them. And that's about all I could say for here. Let's see, advanced. CPU overclock. So if you have a decent CPU, I have an i7 4720, which is a pretty decent CPU. I can crank mine all the way. Now, if you don't have as good a CPU or a little bit less, you can take this down a little bit, and maybe it might smoothen out the game. I have mine cranked, and I don't have any issues at 400% on an i7 4720. But I have noticed that when I was first setting this up here, that I did have to turn it down until I had it actually optimized before. I had a slower machine before, and I had to turn it down a little bit, and it helped smoothen out the graphics. So if your game is not running really smoothly, try playing with this. And you can actually play with this in real time, like while the game is running. You can turn this down, and you can actually hear the game run better with just like the music, background music. You'll suddenly hear the music run smoothly as you play around with this here slider. It's kind of neat. Once you're done, you set that. Let's go to the graphics settings. So copy these here. I use full screen, OpenGL. Enhancements, I have mine set for 1440p, and I'm using a GTX 1080. It can handle that. That's close to as what I can get to a resolution for the Vive Pro, which I'm using it on. It's pretty clear in there with that resolution. I think I've played with anti-aliasing, didn't do a whole lot, so I just turned it off. Let's see, stereoscopic mode. No, sorry. Let me just, normally this is on Oculus. It's not on right now because I don't have the game on. Normally when I have the game on, it'll automatically switch to Oculus. But you can go ahead and go like that. Press Oculus. Even though you're using a Vive. Like I'm using a Vive and I'm still using the Oculus mode. There's no Vive mode. So it just automatically goes there. So let's go on to the next one, Hex. So copy these checkmark boxes here. Not much else I could say here. I just checked everything off and it seemed to work good. Advanced. Here's one to take notice. Here is this load custom textures. Now this one is going to be the one that will allow you to load the HD textures into the game. So you want to check that off. And I think I checked mouse free look. I don't think it did anything. All right. We're going to go over controllers in section 3, so we're going to skip that part for now. VR games. kind of take a moment to look at this, copy over if it's not the same as yours. Can't remember if I did much on here. VR game again. Take a look at this. Make sure yours. I think I changed a couple of these, so definitely put a side-by-side comparison on yours. Avatar, nothing. I did nothing. Motion sickness and VR instructions, so nothing. So that's about it for section number 1. So let's move on to section number 2. Section number 2 is in-game settings. Now this is going to be particular to the Mario Kart ISO that you have downloaded. I have a few Mario Karts. I'm doing this one, the Nintendo published one actually, just the core Mario Kart. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the settings in this to fix the heads-up display in the game. So we're going to right-click that, go to Properties, and take a look at this screen here. I have all this here. I don't know, just check if it's not the same. Now here's an important screen here. This one you're going to want to pause. This is your heads-up display settings. This will bring up the item boxes, the map, everything forward so that when you're in first-person view, you will be able to see that. Otherwise, your item boxes will be way behind you and you won't be able to see them when you're in first-person view, which I have been playing for the past year until I just recently got this fixed up here with thanks from help from a fellow gamer. So copy this over. This will be your Mario Kart, and this will work on all modded Mario Karts as well. But you will have to change these settings on each Mario Kart if you're playing other Mario Karts to fix the heads-up display. Hide objects. Now here's a screen. I'm going to send a link in the description in this part because these first-person Mario ones will not be there in your default menu. So what we're going to do is we're going to check off these top 2 ones, the black fog and the EFB thing, whatever. So check off those 2, and you're going to want to add in this. So I'm sending a link in the description. You're going to want to download it. It is called, where did I put that? Sorry there. The Mario Kart textures and headless code. Yeah, codes. So download that, unzip it, and take a look in this folder here. It's going to be this headless code text. So you want to open this up, and it'll look like this. Copy it, copy all that, highlight it, copy, and let's go back to our Dolphin, and we're going to go show defaults right here. Press the show defaults, and you're going to want to paste it right after, press enter here, and you're going to want to just paste it. You're going to go paste, and it should just look just like that. Press file, save, and you're good to go. And I'm not going to save it because I've already got it in there. And when you're going to have to probably restart Dolphin at this point, like close it and open it again. Go to this hide objects, and then check off every single one of these. This is all different parts of Mario's head. So check them all off to get all of his head off. 1 through 9. Patches, there's nothing. AR codes, nothing. And gecko codes. These are kind of like little cheats that you can go through these and change these. I haven't really spent much time playing with these too much. But that's about it for section number 2, the game configs. Alright, next section we're going to go over controls for Mario Kart. So I would highly recommend using a steering wheel with Mario Kart. It adds the immersion a lot, but you can use a gamepad like Xbox 360, One, or PS4 or whatever. Those all work fine. But let's go. I'm going to go over how I have my steering wheel set up in case you have one, because that will cause, this will be the harder thing to set up than normal. So most modern wheels, like newer wheels, come with a control panel when you install them. You might have to download it if you don't have it, but most wheels do have a control panel. I have one here that's handy. I keep on my desktop. Now the reason why we're going to need this is because most modern wheels have a, as you can see, a 1080 degree turning radius. That means I could turn it 2 or 3 times, which is really nice in simulation racers, but in Mario Kart you're only making like half turns on the wheel. So what we're going to need to do, if you can find your wheel config file here, is you can, most of them should be able to let you turn it down to a 180 degree wheel. Let's try to get it right. There. All right, so I have it set to 180, so that's only a 1/2 turn either way, and my wheel actually stops me from turning it any more than that. It has like servos in it or something that it won't let me turn it. The reason being is I've tried it with full 1080 and it was just a mess. It confuses the game. You're constantly spinning the wheel. It's not recommended. So if you got a new wheel, find those config files and change it to 180 degree wheel. So let's go over my controller settings. Now when you set controls for the game, do not go using it as a Wii remote. I've tried, because it's a Wii game, that was the first thing I did, is tried with the Wiimote. It was just a mess. For whatever reason, it didn't work out well. It wasn't accurate at all. So I tried using GameCube controllers, just the standard controllers. Do not change it to steering wheel. Absolutely do not do anything else besides standard controller. I tried with the wheel, setting it as a steering wheel. Again, it was total mess. So set it as a standard controller. Go to config. Now on here you can see I have my wheel plugged in right now. You're gonna have to go on this drop down box here, choose whatever wheel or gamepad that you are using, and set each button appropriately. Now your wheel may be completely different than my wheel, so I can't really tell you exactly which button to put where, but I can kind of give you an idea. Is A button should definitely be your right pedal, B should be your left pedal, X, Y, we don't use that in Mario Kart. Start button, obvious, wherever you want. The triggers, I have shifting paddles on the back of my wheel. So I have my left shifting paddle. That will be your item throwing button. And my right paddle I have set for my drift. You know, you manually drift around corners and my jump. This here, rumble, will actually add a little bit of force feedback to your game. So when you get hit or whatever, it'll actually push the wheel around a little bit. It's not huge, but it's enough that you notice it. So you want to put it onto constant. So it'll look like this. Normally choose constant, select, apply, and that should give you a little bit of force feedback if your wheel has that. And when you set all this stuff, make sure that you type in a profile name here. I've got mine as the Mario Kart Wii and other games that it works here. And you save it, because when you come back to this, you might have to load that profile again instead of having to do this all over again every time you can set profiles. And that's about it for controls. Alright, this last part is the textures, the HD texture mod. Now this is totally optional, and you can try this on or off, whatever you like. I think it looks really nice to have the extra HD textures. It really helps in certain spots, like looking at the grass or the text in games and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you this. You could play the game as it is right now, as I've explained it to you, or showing all these settings. Now this is, like I said, this is totally optional, but if you want to make your game look a little bit better, follow along here. So in that link that I gave you, that Mario Kart HD texture one that was in the description there, for the headless codes that we went over in the last section there, or whatever section I put it in. It will also have your HD textures in here called RMC. Now, if you look in here, you'll see all these nice looking textures here. What you're going to want to do with this is go to your documents folder in your C drive. Now, you will look in your documents folder here, and you will notice a Dolphin emulator. This might only come after the first time you've played Dolphin at least once. It might start this. This is where all your config files are going to store in it, and you know, all your saves, everything will be in here. This is kind of like its safe zone. No matter where you've installed Dolphin, this will save over here in your documents. So what we're going to want to do is go into load and textures, and that file that I've uploaded for you guys there, just click and drag it in here, and you'll see it's the same one as I uploaded for you right there. So, and that's it. You can it'll just drag it in there. And as I showed you before, we had on one of the config files, we had allow for, where did I put that? I can't remember where I had that one. Enhancements, advanced, yeah, right here, sorry. So on load custom textures, that is telling the Dolphin to load those custom textures that we put into that file there. So if you don't want to, or if it's causing you lag in the game, maybe you want to turn it off, just uncheck it and it will take off the HD textures. Pretty nice. I haven't noticed any slowdown or anything with mine, so but again, I have a fairly decent system that can handle it. But if your system's a little lesser, maybe, and you're having a little lag, then uncheck that box. And that's about it I could show for you. So let's jump into the game, and let me just show you what it's like in the game, and what we can do or how we move the camera and all that. I'll go over all that in there. So let's jump into some Mario Kart. Okay, so now we're in the game, and now if you followed all the steps properly, the game should look like this to begin with. Now, if you started the game and your headset was to the left or to the right or on the floor when you started the game, it might look like this, and you have to look over there that way. So to fix that, if you followed my steps on step 1, we talked about hotkeys and how I put the free look reset to a top left bumper. So if you just press the top left bumper, it'll reset our view perfectly right there. So you want to keep your head straight, press the free look reset, and should be good to go. So I'm going to press the A button, which I've mapped to my right pedal. Now, also when you get into this and you see the menus look a little messed up, don't be off put by that. That's unfortunately one of the drawbacks of this mod is the menus are kind of out of whack. You can still read them, it still works, but don't worry if you think your game is broken because the menus are messed up. It'll be fine in the game, but the menus are weird. So I do have a cross pad on my wheel, which I've mapped just for the movement of the menu, but menu navigation. So I can move around in here. So I don't actually need my controller 99% of the time. I just have it on my side here. So let's just pick this here, pick Mario, whatever car, you can kind of see it at the bottom, pick manual, pick the first cup here. Okay, so once you get into the game, it should be all good. It looks beautiful. It's running very smoothly. I'm getting some force feedback from those fireworks. So once you get into the game, you can go ahead and you can maybe pause right here. Let's see. You'll notice that Mario's head is missing, for one. I'm just going to let this start here, and I'm not going to actually race here. But I'm going to show you what, with our hotkeys on step 1, how I showed you the hotkeys I set to my cross pad. So if you press the cross pad, I've set my view forward, free look forward, to up. So as you notice, it'll take like 10 pushes of that button or so. So watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A little. Just tap it a few times. You only have to do this once. I have my down set to the left crosspad here, so I can go up or down. I have one is up, one is down. So all you need is back, forward, up, and down. So I'm going to set this to approximately where I want it. I can see Mario's body here, so I want to go one more step forward, and it looks about good there. Now the controller, I can put this away. If I've screwed up in any way, I can, like, again, reset, go back to this view, and I'm just going to go back in. Kind of getting real fast at it, but you only have to do that once while you play. Once you're set, you're good to go. It'll stay there. So let's drive around a little bit. So as you can see, I can see Mario's hands. Everything's running beautifully. I can see my box, my item box is just to the side of my vision. It's not right in my vision, but it is just to the side, just enough that I could see it with my peripheral vision. And I think that's perfect because it's not in the way, but yet I have to do just a simple glance, and I can see it right over there, no problem. But that's about all I can show you about this. Once you got all that going and you followed all these steps, you should be good to go. If you have any trouble or problems, put a comment in the comment section there, and I will try to help you out as much as I can. And until next time, see ya!